Well, I'm Bharat coming up in the next 30 minutes. Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi holds bilateral talks with Oman's Sultan Haitham bin Tariq. Discussions included maritime cooperation, trade, space, terrorism, energy security, green energy, people-to-people ties. Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi flags off Viksit Bharat Sankalp Yatra in 5 states, also interacts with beneficiaries virtually. PM expresses happiness at the impact of the yatras across the country. And Kuwait's ruling Emir Sheikh Nawaf Al Ahmed Al Sabah passes away at 86. Sheikh Meshal named as successor. India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Saturday held bilateral talks with Oman Sultan Haitham bin Tariq in New Delhi to boost India-Oman strategic partnership. Both the leaders held talks on the areas of mutual interest. The diplomatic relations between the two countries were established in 1955. Currently, both the countries share a long-standing friendship rooted in historical, cultural and economic ties. This is the first visit to India by Oman Sultan in nearly 25 years. Earlier today, the Sultan of Oman was accorded a ceremonial reception at the forecourt of Rashtrapati Bhavan in New Delhi. Prime Minister Narendra Modi and President Draupadi Murmu received the Sultan at Rashtrapati Bhavan. Sultan Haitham bin Tariq was accorded with Guard of Honor by the Combined Defence Services. The Sultan arrived in India at the invitation of President Draupadi Murmu. At the bilateral talks, India's PM Modi said that India-Oman was adopting a new joint vision for future. He stressed that the joint vision would enhance the partnership between the two countries.
आज हम एक नए इंडिया-ओमान जॉइंट विजन ऑफ पार्टनरशिप फॉर फ्यूचर को एडॉप्ट कर रहे हैं। इस जॉइंट विजन में 10 विभिन्न क्षेत्रों पर ठोस एक्शन पॉइंट्स पर सहमति बनी है। मुझे पूरा विश्वास है कि जॉइंट विजन हमारी साझेदारी को एक नया और आधुनिक स्वरूप देगा। मुझे खुशी है पक्षों के बीच सीपा एग्रीमेंट पर चर्चा जारी है। इस वार्ता के 2 राउंड सफलतापूर्वक संपन्न किए जा चुके हैं, जिसमें कई महत्वपूर्ण मुद्दों पर सहमति बन चुकी है। मैं आशा करता हूं कि हम जल्द ही इस एग्रीमेंट को साइन कर पाएंगे, जिससे हमारे आर्थिक सहयोग में एक नए अध्याय का जुड़ना हो जाएगा।
PM Modi talked about the vibrant India-Oman relations as well.
सदियों से भारत और ओमान गहरी मित्रता के अटूट संबंध रहे हैं। अरब सागर के एक छोर पर भारत है तो दूसरे छोर पर ओमान है। हमारी आपसी निकटता केवल भूगोल तक सीमित नहीं है, बल्कि ये हमारे हजारों वर्षों से चले रहे व्यापार और संस्कृति और हमारी समान प्राथमिकताओं से भी झलकती है। इस यशस्वी इतिहास के बलबूते पर हम एक उज्जवल भविष्य की संरचना कर रहे हैं।
India's Foreign Secretary Vinay Quatra briefed the media on Oman Sultan Haitham bin Tariq's India visit and said that both countries signed MOU in information and technology, culture, combating financial crime. Hindi chair ICCR in Oman.
Countries had also signed MOU, including in the field of information technology, cooperation in the field of culture, combating financial crimes, and of course establishment of a Hindi chair of ICCR in Oman. Secondly, again an area which featured very prominently in the discussions between the two leaders was ongoing discussions between the two countries for a comprehensive economic partnership agreement.
India's Foreign Secretary Vinay Yatra said that India shares a special relationship with Oman today, and the relationship evolved into a strategic partnership.
A significant achievement in terms of India-Oman trade and capital cooperation was the announcement of the third tranche of the Oman-India Joint Investment Fund. This fund would be worth $300 million, approximately 2,500 crores. Purely as a point of elaboration, the fund was established as a 50-50 joint venture between the State Bank of India and the Oman Investment Authority, which essentially channelizes investments into the fastest growing sectors of the Indian economy.
India's Vice President Jagdeep Dhankar met Oman Sultan Haitham bin Tariq in New Delhi. Both leaders discussed the wide ambit of bilateral relations in the light of the historic relationship that India and Oman enjoy. India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Saturday virtually interacted with the beneficiaries of the government's welfare schemes under the outreach program called Viksit Bharat Sankalp Yatra. During the program, the Prime Minister also flagged off the Viksit Bharat Sankalp Yatra in India's 5 different states. While interacting with one such beneficiary, the Prime Minister said Atmanirbhar women of the country are not just sustaining themselves, but also becoming a boon for others. India celebrates Vijay Divas today, commemorating the victory of the Indian Armed Forces in Operation Vijay against Pakistan in the 1971 war. Paying tribute to the brave hearts, Indian President Draupadi Murmu posted on social media, and I quote, "The nation remembers with gratitude the selfless sacrifice made by our armed forces during the 1971 war. On Vijay Divas, I pay homage to the brave hearts who displayed unparalleled courage and achieved historic victory." Prime Minister Narendra Modi too paid homage to the brave hearts. In a social media post, he said, and I quote, "Today, on Vijay Divas, we pay heartfelt tribute to all the brave heroes who dutifully served India in 1971, ensuring a decisive victory. Their valor and dedication remain a source of immense pride for the nation. Their sacrifices and unwavering spirit will forever be etched in the people's hearts and our nation's history. India salutes their courage and remembers their indomitable spirit." India's Defence Minister Rajnath Singh, along with CDS General Anil Chauhan, Army Chief General Manoj Pandey, Navy Chief Admiral R. Hari Kumar and IAF Vice Chief Air Marshal Amarpreet Singh laid wreath at the National War Memorial on the occasion of Vijay Divas. Meanwhile, Bangladesh is celebrating its 53rd Victory Day, known as Bijoy Divas, to mark the liberation from Pakistan in 1971 on Saturday. On this day, in 1971, the Pakistani armed forces led by General A.A.K. Niazi surrendered before the Indian Army and the Mukti Bahini Liberation Force of Bangladesh with over 90,000 of its troops, which ended the 9-month-long struggle of the people of Bangladesh. Bangladesh President Mohammad Shahabuddin and Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina on Saturday paid tributes to the martyrs of the 1971 Liberation War by placing wreaths at the National Memorial in Sawar on the outskirts of Dhaka, marking the 53rd Victory Day. Kuwait's Emir Sheikh Nawaf Al Ahmad Al Sabah died on Saturday, aged 86, just over 3 years after assuming power in the US-allied Gulf oil producer. The cause of his death was not immediately disclosed. Kuwait has announced official mourning for 40 days and closure of official departments for 3 days. Meanwhile, Kuwait's Crown Prince Sheikh Mishal Al Ahmad Al Jaber Al Sabah has been named the oil-rich country's new emir. India's External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar, in a tweet, warmly greeted Bahrain's Foreign Minister and the government and people of Bahrain on their National Day. The tweet further stated that our time-tested ties keep deepening with our growing cooperation. Japan is providing Malaysia with an extra $3 million in security assistance as the two countries met on the sidelines of ASEAN summit in Tokyo. The bloc and Japan are commemorating 50 years of cooperation with a three-day meeting aimed at agreeing on a new vision for the future of Asia-Pacific. Chris Gilbert has more from Tokyo.
Well, there is the expectation that on the last day of the summit there's going to be a joint declaration from the ASEAN members as well as Japan's Prime Minister Fumio Kishida, but the summit is producing announceables already. The Prime Minister has had a flurry of bilateral meetings throughout the day with a chunk of ASEAN member countries, but most interestingly, the meeting with Malaysia resulted in a signing ceremony where Japan is providing about another $3 million in OSA, that's official security assistance, which is a grant program set up earlier in 2023, where Japan is effectively providing this money, which is specifically for the benefit of the armed forces in Malaysia to effectively boost their ability to enhance their security, in this case, their surveillance and warning systems. There was also a meeting between Fumio Kishida, the Prime Minister, and the King of Brunei, and there was a conversation in that meeting about the rule of law and the maritime zones around Brunei. Now, those two are significant because they, along with Vietnam and the Philippines, are the two countries which are directly experiencing the consequences of China's military assertiveness in the South China Sea and in the Taiwan Strait area, the physical expansion of China into these maritime areas. And we've seen in just the last week or two how that can manifest with Philippine Coast Guard and the Chinese Coast Guard having a very physical interaction. And we've also seen the leaders of the United States and China both visit Vietnam recently to try and boost ties with that country. So there is a lot of competition for these countries. And here we have Japan stepping in with things like the OSA and an extra $3 million of security for Malaysia. Day two is a day of talks, group talks amongst ASEAN countries and Japan and the Prime Minister Fumio Kishida and the Foreign Minister Kamikawa. Day three is going to be the ASEC talks. It's the Asia Zero Emissions Community. So it'll be a focus on energy transition, and we're also expecting, again, that joint statement and an implementation plan to realize a new vision for the future is what the Ministry of Foreign Affairs is pitching based on person-to-person interactions, peace and stability and new communities and new economies. And experts here are saying that this is a pivotal moment for Japan, perhaps even more than a G7, to prove itself as a leader of Asia-Pacific countries. Chris Gilbert in Tokyo reporting for DD India.
And let's take a look at other stories making news around the world. South Korea's northern mountain areas hit by heavy snow on Saturday. Local governments mobilized efforts to remove snow from the roads. A heavy snow warning has been issued in the central and northern mountain regions of Gangwon province. Blizzards of cold lashes China, Shanghai, spurring the authorities to halt train services, shut schools in the region. Residents of Shanghai braced for the cold on Saturday as temperatures dipped to 2 degrees Celsius. Local authorities of Shanghai have issued a blue cold alert as precaution. A teenager from Britain disappearing 6 years ago was found in southern France after disappearing. England police said they were working with French authorities to bring the British teenager named Batty back home. And still to come on this edition of DD India Live. India's Commerce Minister Piyush Goyal launches Logistics Ease Across Different States 2023 report. A powerful solar flare erupted from the sun and scientists say is the most significant solar flare occurrence since 2017.
Were these people so disturbed and overcome by circumstances as is being claimed? Did they become useful tools or convenient tools in the hands of people?
Yes, you say that there is a political messaging, but a political messaging or any kind of social messaging can very well be done only through pamphlets.
That's a dichotomous situation where you have a high-profile institution which also is high-profile in the sense that normal citizens want access to it on a daily basis.
That's very important that every part of that security layer, they should be trained, they should be briefed properly, and they should know what is their exact duties there.
Were these people so disturbed and overcome by circumstances?
You're watching DD India Live. I am Siddharth Bharadwaj. Russian President Vladimir Putin will run for president again as an independent candidate with a wide support base, but not on a party ticket. Russian news agencies reported on Saturday, citing his supporters. An initiative group made up of over 700 politicians and figures from the sporting and cultural worlds met on Saturday in Moscow and unanimously endorsed Putin's nomination as an independent candidate. Putin, who's been in power as either president or prime minister for more than 2 decades, has announced he will seek another 6-year term in March next year in an election he is comfortably expected to win. Putin will not run as a candidate for the ruling United Russia party, even though he has its complete support, but as an independent candidate. Andrei Turchak, a senior UR party official, was cited as saying by the RIA news agency. The European Union has failed to agree on a more than $50 billion package for assistance for Ukraine at a 2-day meeting in Brussels. Hungarian Prime Minister Viktor Orban has so far refused to lift his veto, but leaders are confident a deal is within reach. DD India's Alex Kadia reports from Brussels.
Ukraine will have to wait at least a few more weeks to receive more than $50 billion worth of European support. Hungarian Prime Minister Viktor Orban refused to lift his country's veto on the new aid package as part of a broader negotiations over the EU's budget. But leaders, including French President Emmanuel Macron, are confident that a deal is within reach, meaning they'll get back around the table here in January or early February to try and finalize an agreement. While Ukraine waits for that outcome, it also celebrates the decision by EU leaders to open its membership negotiations, a long process Kyiv has been eager to start. The negotiations are a 38-stage journey of reform and alignment with the European Union, one that could take a decade. Nevertheless, the European Commission's president says the move sends a clear message.
In a world that is shaken by multiple crises, it's an investment in stability, it's an investment in security of our continent, but of course it's also an investment in prosperity for our continent. And it's a big investment in democracies.
The EU's 27 heads of state also discussed the conflict in the Middle East, with a majority of member states wanting the bloc to call for a ceasefire. They discussed that and potential sanctions against Hamas and Israeli settlers in the West Bank, but stopped short of making any decisions or formal announcements. It's been a long and at times tense meeting of the EU's 27 leaders. They leave Brussels with more work to do on aid for Kyiv and their position on the war in Gaza, but also in the knowledge that Ukraine is one step closer to European Union membership. Alex Kadia in Brussels reporting for DD India.
India's Commerce Minister Piyush Goyal launches Logistics Ease Across Different States 2023 report, which can enhance performance of logistics across various states and union territories. DD India correspondent Tapas Bhattacharya has more details.
Unlocking the potential of a Viksit Bharat, India envisions a remarkable $32 trillion GDP by 2047. Enter leads 2023, the Logistics Ease Across Different States initiative, a game changer in the nation's growth narrative. It has made substantial improvements in assessing and enhancing the performance of logistics across various states and union territories.
Logistics sector will be a cornerstone in our endeavor to take India to a 10x level from 3.5 trillion to 35 trillion by 2047. India stands out as a bright star. India stands out as a country which under Prime Minister Modi's leadership has deftly managed the economy very well. We have become the fastest growing large economy consistently for some years now and expected to continue to be so.
This platform serves as a valuable resource, providing actionable insights to states' UTs for strategic decision-making, thereby promoting a competitive federalism model in logistics development across the nation.
This Leeds Report 2023, it's the 5th edition, will significantly give us the pathway to further invigorize this sector, make it more, help it to contribute to a better sector in the days ahead. These reports are encouraging the states also and other stakeholders to see how they can improve their processes, how they can contribute to a better future of the logistics sector.
Leeds 2023 report grouped states' UTs into groups based on their geography: coastal, landlocked, northeast and union territories, and further categorized them into achievers, fast movers and aspirers depending on their logistical performance across 3 pillars: quality of logistics services and operating and regulatory environment. The Leeds 2023 report lauds India's strides in infrastructure and propel India's logistics sector into a game-changing sector.
The 5th edition of the Leeds report is expected to change the gamut of logistic ecosystem in the country. It is expected that India will become a developed nation by 2047 and its GDP will touch the 32 trillion mark. And this report is expected to play a pivotal role in that. With camera person Kumar Dutta, this is Taposh Bhattacharya for DD India from Delhi.
A powerful solar flare has erupted from the sun, which scientists say is the most significant solar flare occurrence since 2017. Using extreme ultraviolet rays, NASA's Solar Dynamics Observatory has captured the eruption. Coronal mass ejections resulting from these solar flares have the potential to power grids and other critical infrastructures on Earth. You're watching DD India News Hour. Time now for sport. Multiple changes in India's squad against South Africa for tests and ODIs. Fast bowler Deepak Chahar has withdrawn from ODIs due to family medical emergency, while Mohammad Shami has been ruled out from tests due to injury. The BCCI said that Akashdeep has replaced Chahar in one-day international squad. The ODI series begins on Sunday. Pacer Mohammad Shami failed to regain fitness on time and has been ruled out from the 2-match test series against South Africa starting December 26. After the conclusion of the first ODI, batter Shreyas Iyer will join the test squad to prepare for the test series. India women's team have annihilated England to set a new record for the biggest win by a run margin in the history of women's test. India made 428 runs after opting to bat first. Deepti Sharma then took 5-wicket haul in quick time to skittle England out for a mere 136 in 35.3 overs. India didn't enforce the follow-on and declared their second dig at 186 for the loss of 6 wickets, setting 478 runs target for England to win. Indian pacers led the early blows with Pooja Vastrakar taking 3 wickets before Deepti Sharma added 4 more wickets to her kitty as England were bowled out for 131. Multiple changes in India's squad against South Africa for tests and ODIs. Fast bowler Deepak Chahar has withdrawn from ODIs due to family medical emergency, while Mohammad Shami has been ruled out from tests due to injury. The BCCI said that Akashdeep has replaced Chahar in one-day international squad. The ODI series begins on Sunday. Pacer Mohammad Shami failed to regain fitness on time and has been ruled out from the 2-match test series against South Africa starting December 26. After the conclusion of the first ODI, batter Shreyas Iyer will join the test squad to prepare for the test series. Novak Djokovic and Aryna Sabalenka have been honored by the International Tennis Federation as the ITF World Champions in 2023. They are the only single players to reach at least the semi-finals of all 4 Grand Slam tournaments this season. Djokovic finished at number 1 in the ATP rankings for a record-extending 8th time. He won the Australian Open, French Open and US Open and was runner-up in the Wimbledon. Sabalenka received the honour for the first time after winning the Australian Open for her first Grand Slam title, finishing as the runner-up at the US Open and making it to the semi-finals at the French Open and Wimbledon. All right, and that's all for this edition of DD India Live. But let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. You can connect with us on Facebook, X formerly known as Twitter, and Instagram. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Siddharth Bharadwaj from all of us here in Delhi. Thanks for watching DD India Live.